know me. It's good in the neighborhood today on this wondrous Wednesday, this Wake Up Wednesday, this Wow Wednesday, this Work It Out Wednesday. Yes, we are here, we are present, and we are accounted for. What a blessing to recognize and to realize that you are present. And things may not be exactly how you will them to be at this present moment. But I promise you, this present moment is full of gold. It is full of gratefulness. It is full of power. Sometimes we just don't come into our now and celebrate what's happening right now. We're breathing. We're in our right mind. Well, most of us. And we're in a place, in a space where we're still in a position to change things, to cause things to be different, to cause things to manifest in a certain way, to attract better things. But we have to think better of ourselves. We have to really repent, means go back to your original state of being before all of this conditioning happened, before all of this just mess just came into existence, before when God first released us into the womb and we were so equipped, we were so ready to take this journey, to make this experience with all the equipment that God had granted us. The equipment and the tools are not gone. They just tried to make you forget that you forgot on who you were. And so here we are in this space, in this place, allowing God to take us on this journey and allowing God to show us the way, to show us the place, to show us the situation. As we begin to do that, then we begin to honor our Father, our Master, our Teacher, our Creator. And as we begin to do that, we find ourselves and define ourselves in such a greater place, in such a greater space. It allows us to go forth. It allows us to be at peace. It allows us to be in this place and space where we can honor the presence of the Lord. And so it's good to be present. It's good to be in this moment. Well, today we're going to begin. Let me check on something. We're going to begin to uh, talk about the fictitious mind today. As we begin to talk about the fictitious mind, I want you to know that the fictitious mind is something that is in your thoughts that is untrue. That something in your thoughts. Let me check one thing. Um, yes, there's something in your thoughts that is untrue, and it has been planted from an outside force. That could be your environment, your parents, um, your spouses, your friends, your co-workers. It is that it is that weed that is so annoying to the rest of the crop, to the rest of the fruit. And so on the other day, when I did the message about the suicidal mind, it had a lot of views, and that's disturbing. Although I want or I will for people to view my message, sometimes the title of the message draws people based on where their level of consciousness is, where they are in their lives, things that they're thinking in their mind. And so they go in not because they know me, but because the title has attracted them. And so it has attracted a lot on all of my pages. And so I wanted to come in today and kind of back up the suicidal mind with the fictitious mind. Because anytime that a thought comes to your mind to tell you to take your life, is fictitious. God never planned for you to take your life. He gives us a free will. And so when that happens, that means you've decided on your own that you're not needed here, that you're not wanted here, that you're not in a safe place here. And that's a fictitious mind. That's a fictitious thought because you are a piece of the puzzle. You are a masterpiece. You are greater than you think you are. You're greater than the drugs that you've chosen to uh, to use for your entertainment. You're greater than the alcohol that you're drinking, that you're trying to ease that pain. You're trying to take a temporary substance and bring aid to something that's permanent and it doesn't fit. And you're trying to reach a high that you once reached when you first started, but the only reason that you reached that high is because that was your first time and you're chasing a feeling that you'll never find. And so you're increasing the alcohol because you think the more alcohol you drink, the more it will take you to that feeling, or it will relieve that feeling that you're feeling inside of you, or that you don't want to feel. Most of the times we decide to drink, and there's nothing wrong with drinking if it's in moderation, but if you're constantly drinking every day and you're doing it too much, it's because there's something on the inside that needs to be filled, but it cannot be filled by a temporary substance or a temporary drink. Even a person cannot feel it because you are self motivated, you are self healing, and you know great things, and you have all the tools that are necessary. So, what we must do is we must make a decision to decide in our mind, is it what we're thinking fictitious or is it fact? So listen, I keep telling you, the heart mind is always going to tell you the facts, the true facts. It's always going to be about faith, and it's always going to be about you hearing what the Spirit is saying to you. But the head mind, if you're using that first, it's going to be full of confusion, it's going to be full of fear, it's going to be full of suicidal thoughts. And so, what I kind of want to, not kind of what I want to, what I will to do today is to alert you that there is a fictitious mind. Remember when we first started school and it used to be called spelling. And if we really look at the word spelling, we're with our words, spells are being cast, which means there are spirits that travel on words. That's why it says the power of life and death is in your tongue, in your language. So there are some words that we've heard that have placed a spell on us to cause us to feel like we feel, to have this fictitious mind that we're not needed, not wanted, not loved. But until we come to the consciousness of knowing, being, and having a sound mind, then we're going to continue to chase after those fictitious words, and they're going to continue to be planted in our subconscious mind. And because we are creators, every time those words are triggered or they're thought of, then we begin to create that very word or that very situation. But knowing that the fictitious mind is not real, knowing that the fictitious mind offers you no assurance of goodness, of greatness, of power. It only offers you emptiness. It only offers you sadness. It only offers you uncertainties. It only offers you suicidal thoughts. It never offers you an opportunity to not give up, but get up. There is nothing that is going on in your life that cannot be healed. But if you don't open your mouth to have a conversation, to have a conversation with yourself first, you got to have a conversation with you, because you've got to come to yourself. Once you come to yourself, you recognize that you have um, a situation that needs assistance. There is nothing wrong with you needing assistance. There is nothing wrong with you talking to a psychiatrist, a counselor, a spiritual evolutionist, a life coach. Those people will assist you. They're not going to give you the answer, but they will assist you in giving you tools so that you can have an alternative or another way of thinking, other thoughts. They will give you tools that can assist you in changing your mind. They can't change your mind, but they can assist you in you making a change in your mind. Because in the fictitious mind, There is a thought that needs to be changed. In the suicidal mind, there are thoughts that need to be changed. Um, I had a conversation today with my son. Now, I asked my son some questions, and I asked him why one of his. I asked him about one of the people that he knows, and I asked him, "Why do you think he does that?" And I was talking about one of his friends that continues to do things to satisfy other people or to fit in. So the fictitious mind says, if you don't do this, then you're not going to be cool or you're not going to be accepted. So what I want to, or what I will to do today, is to bring it to you that you're authentic. And once you know your worth, you never have to prove yourself. Once you know who you are, you never have to prove yourself. And so, as you define the greatest version of you, if people don't want to be a part of your life, it's their loss. It's not yours. God will never need to use anything that you've lost, or anything that is walked away from you, or anything that is turned away from you. That is why it is so important and mandatory that you define yourself, that you put yourself in a place of foundational assurance and responsibility. It is very important also that you take responsibilities for your thoughts, that you don't blame other people that you're feeling like you're feeling, because you have authority over this land. You are the king or the queen that runs this land. And so we've been so conditioned to do things to hopefully make people like us. And 9 times out of 10, when you do what you think you need to do to make yourself be acceptable in a certain circle, once you do it, they still don't accept you. And so that adds some more pressure, that adds some more pain, that adds some more disappointment. But when we recognize we came here alone and we're going to leave here alone, and sometimes when I say you have to walk alone, I mean from the physical. God's always with you. He is always present. But I told you before, it is important that you invite him into your presence, his presence into your presence. And you can come together, and God will, you can offer up your steps to him. You can offer up your thoughts to him, and he will begin to speak a word to you. Now, his voice sounds just like your voice, but it's the power of it. It's that abracadabra moment. You know, I create as I speak, or it's already done as I have spoken, calling those things that are not as if they already were. That is some power. If it wasn't, when God got there, it became. And so you have that same power, that abracadabra moment. I create as I speak. That's why it's so important that you know words are spellings. They are offering different type spells. We always want to put it in a witchcraft form, but it is a lifestyle. The schools educated us, or they thought they did, and they conditioned us. I don't want to say educate. They conditioned us to learn. See, we didn't come here to learn though. We came here to remember, but they conditioned us to learn spellings. And I just got speechless with words. It is so important to know, not just believe, but to know. It is so important that you know that you have a purpose. And your purpose is not to commit suicide. Your purpose is not to operate in a fictitious mind. Your purpose has so much validity and so much greater than you could ever imagine. Remember, we walk in the imagination of God, and his imagination is unlimited, which means the creative power to create a life that you can experience as you take this journey. Remember, we're not dwellers, we're travelers, and we're just on a journey, and we're having some experiences as we go on the journey. But the experiences are coming to help us remember who we are. Remember, they tried to make you forget that you forgot who you were. And that's why you're at this stage of this fictitious mind and you're believing everything that you see on the television. They are telling you a vision. They're telling you a vision most of the time that is not truth. And so it may have some truth in it, but it's not the truth. So we have to offer up an opportunity to research. If if they are telling you something and there's something on the inside of you to say, wait a minute, something is not right. You have to research. Do not take the television's word for face value. It has, most of the time, very little value. So, a person that wants to control you is not going to tell you the whole truth. They're just going to give you a piece of truth to draw you. The rest of it's going to be illusion and fiction. And they're going to keep feeding it because, listen, when in the beginning, Adam and Eve, Adam, we're talking about the cells. Eve, we're talking about evolving. Cells evolving. When they begin to eat the fruit of listening from outside interference, it interrupted the purpose. It didn't kill the purpose now. No, no, no. It interrupted the purpose that God has created you for. And so listening to outside interference in these gates, all of that's physical. But when you go internal, the within, when you come home, when you see from the internal eye, when you hear from the internal ear, in the middle of heart is ear, then you can separate what's fact and what's fiction. Nobody that is trying to condition you, I got to say this again, is going to tell you the complete truth. You remember when you meet somebody and then it's kind of funny. When you meet somebody and they only tell you what they think they want you to hear or who they are and what they're doing, and then you continue into a conversation or a relationship and the real truth begins to come out. And so that's why we shouldn't be fascinated and drawn in by what a person says initially. Most people initially, what they say, the first impression is the best impression, or trying to make an impression, especially if they like you or they're trying to get with you. They're trying to make an impression that is going to attract you. And that's why you have to go in, because when you go in, your heart is going to tell you the truth. Your head's going to tell you, oh, he's fine. Oh, she's pretty. Oh, she's this. Oh, she's that. I am telling you that you must operate in the greatest version of you. And that's your inner being. That's the place where you reside. That's the place where your greatness is. And so it also cuts off a lot of pain, a lot of frustration, a lot of stress, and a lot of trial and error if we come out of that fictitious mind. That fictitious mind looks like it's true. Maybe sound, like it's true. But when you do the research, when you go into your inner being, to your heart, and begin to examine it, we have got to get the word out to people. This is not a time to give up. Yes, it's a challenge. I'm not going to say it's hard. It's a challenge, and it's not a struggle. Because when I ask God, why do I have to struggle? He says, not struggle, it's preparation. Preparing you to remember who you are, whose you are, and giving you a mindset that is going to give you fact. Remember, heart first mindset, then head first mindset. We've only been told about this mindset. Remember, I talked, this mindset is full of confusion. It's like a lot of things going on. It's full of fear. It's full of all kind of things. So the mindset begins here, and then we line it up. We balance it out. We call it to be. We speak to it. We begin to manifest things through it. So I know a lot of things are challenging to you right now. And it seems like, and I told you about that assumption mind. You're assuming that we're not going to make it, that things are so tough. That's an assumption mind. We talked about that. You need to go back to where we talked about an assumption mind, because all of these divisions of your mind come together to decide within yourself what you're going to do, how you're going to respond, how you're going to act, what's your next move. So we've been paying attention to, we've been going to the doctor for all these physical things, and we try to do an examination every year to make sure the physical things are working. But we have not been working on the mentality to balance it up from here to here. And so you can only go higher when you do that. So when you start with the heart, make it up to the head, you're going to go higher. There is so much potential inside of you. There is so much potential inside of you. Let me say it one more time. There is so much potential inside of you. But if you're not focusing on the potential, you're going to focus on the fictitious. The fictitious is a word somebody said to you a long time ago. It might have been a teacher, a parent, a friend. You ain't going to never be nothing. Fictitious mind. I am royalty. So you can't tell me I'll never be anything when my creator that made me say I'm a royal priesthood. Now, if I'm a royal priesthood, you can't tell me I'm not going to be anything. But we do not fight. When I say fight, I'm not talking about physically. We do not spiritually, soulfully, and mentally fight to keep our sanity, to keep a mindset that offers us a foundation and a way to go this road that we're on, this journey that we're taking. Listen, self-motivation is the best motivation. I'm your motivator, but self-motivation is your best motivation. And you have to keep your energy levels at the highest version of you. The highest version of an energy level is the unconditional love that God has given you. The freedom that you must walk in has nothing to do with your color, but everything to do with your content. I know we made it a racial thing, another fictitious thought. If they can divide us, they can help us to fall, and we help them to help us fall. So when we start taking responsibility that some of the things that we're thinking are fictitious, they're not true, they're illusional, that third dimensional place that we've been operating in, it is time to rise up. I know y'all tell the Falcons that, but it's time to rise up in your mentality. It is time to rise up. This is the rapture season. I keep telling you that. We're rapturing up to greater. We're rapturing up to the place where we belong. We're taking our position. We're taking back our inheritance. We're taking our birthright. Your birthright is to be free. Woo. This is good in the neighborhood. I'm talking to you, and I'm talking to you, and I'm talking to you, and I'm talking to you. And so when we manifest from the greatest version of ourselves, we operate in a higher dimension, and we're above everything that's going on in the lower dimension. Come on here. We think in heavenly places, as above, so below. And then when we take it below, it becomes what we saw above. As above, so below as above. We begin to change our atmosphere. We begin to change how we move and have our being. We begin to change who we are. We begin to reach our destination. We reach our goals. Telling you, this kind of thinking gives you a 360-degree turnaround. Do not look at what you can see with your physical eyes. but go inside of you and see what your inner eye is telling you, what your intuition, your mind's eye. It is so, it seems so simple, but for some people, it's difficult. Why? Fictitious mind. We've been put in that place. Remember, yesterday we talked about the prison mind. The reason you don't know that you're in prison within your mind is because there are no bars. Ooh. And just like you placed yourself there, or you allowed somebody to push you there, you had to give them permission now. Nobody can take you anywhere on this journey without your permission. Not even God. What? He is giving you a free will. It's not going to make you. He wills for you to make a decision to go down the right road, to make the right decisions, to live a joyous life, to be happy in spite of everything that's trying to deter you, trying to keep you in a monument and not become a movement. This information is life changing. And so my prayer is, and that's why I tell you to meditate, because in order to do the mind first, you have to meditate, because the meditation clears this out. It quiets this so that you can hear this. And then when you hear this, you can go ahead and manifest this. Ooh, yes, sir. This is free information. Y'all better get this. And so, meditation. Listen, meditation, meditation, meditation. Ever since I started meditating, every door to God, every day a door opens. And I just walk right through it, not knowing what's on the other side, but trusting God. Me trusting God that whatever's on the other side, if He opened the door, it's just for me. So I'm getting my stuff. Don't be afraid of the unknown, because once you walk through something that's unknown, God's going to give you the knowledge to know it. And once you know a thing, you can't unknow it. Well, my time is up for this session, but I want you and I will for you to realize you are important. You are needed. You are loved. And we have to put every piece of the puzzle together to offer up wholeness. Woo! That's what we're reaching for. Wholeness. 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 But most of us are operating with a whole nest. A nest with a hole in it. And we want to heal that hole and add a W to it, so we will have the wholeness. Well, this is Michelle. I'm your motivator, the spiritual evolutionist, on this wonderful Wednesday, on this Wake Up Wednesday, on this Wow Wednesday. Listen, the middle of the week, it said this is hump day. That means you already went up the hill and you're taking it down so that you can slide into Friday or to the weekend. But listen, there is no one like you. And so there's no need for you to duplicate somebody else. You are your greatest competition. There is no competition around you, because there's no one like you. There's no one that looks like you. People may look similar to you, but there's no one that looks exactly like you. There is no one that has your fingerprint. This is the fingerprint of God. They can find you anywhere with this fingerprint, because God created it. And no matter how it looks the same, it's not. You cannot be duplicated, because you are an original. Wow. This ought to be encouraging to your soul. How many times do we have people that tell us who we are, that encourage us, that motivate us, that spiritually give us the power that is needed to explode into something greater? All right. Well, you've been created by the Creator to be creative, so start creating your creations. and get rid of that fictitious mind because it's telling you lies. The enemy is the enemy, and the enemy comes to steal, kill, and destroy. There is not an outside force that can destroy you quicker than you destroying yourself. So while we saying the devil, the demons, the husband, the wife, the boss, co-workers, friends, there's no one that can destroy you quicker than you destroy yourself. That's some power. But when you realize you have that power, then maybe you'll stop doing it. When you recognize and become conscious, enlightened, and awaken to it, that means there's no enemy but you. And when you recognize that, the things that are going on around you, they're illusional. The real deal is on the inside. Well, may the love, joy, peace, power, and sound mindedness be your soul food for today. Please share this. Someone needs to be encouraged. Someone right now is thinking about killing themselves because they've lost their job. Some of their people have transitioned, and people are having multiple transitions at one time. It's difficult and challenging to handle one person transitioning, but to have multiple at one time. I even saw where there were 7 kids that transitioned at one time due to a fire. I can't imagine a parent or parents having to deal with that. But with God, all things are possible and nothing is impossible. He will heal the heart. And as he heals your heart, all the things that you really thought you just could not go through, oh, he'll be a crutch if you're hopping. And he'll carry you if you can't even walk. I'm telling you. All right, let me get out of here. I feel the anointing coming on. I feel the power coming on. But somebody just needs to be encouraged. Somebody just needs to hear that they're loved, that they're needed, that they're wanted, and that they have purpose. Well, your motivator is telling you that. So anytime you need to hear that, go back and listen to this video. Keep it on speed. What is it? Speed dial, so you can just find it when you need it. All right? Be blessed. Enjoy your evening. Tell the people around you that you love them. Allow yourself to be great in your own right. Be blessed.